Hey, 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 it is your girl Pusher. If you're not pushing forward, you're moving backwards. Say it out loud. Forward ever, backwards never. Yes, yes, Miss Unique. Forward ever, backwards never. I'm gonna gift you something because I'm in a given mood. And because you said that the hashtag forward ever, backwards never, I'm going to gift you something on today because I feel generous. So congratulations to you. By the way, did you all get your copies of It Takes One to Know One, Workbook and Journal, People Pusher, and Remember Me? Well, go over to pusherlife.org, go to the office link, and get your copies today. And while you're over there, take the pledge. Matter of fact, the pledge is in the chat. Scroll up, down, whatever, but you will see the link in the chat. I need you to take a minute and take that pledge. You're not taking a pledge for me. You're not taking a pledge for Tia. You're not taking a pledge for everybody else in the Pusher community. You're taking a pledge for yourself, making a commitment to take ownership of your growth and development. What you are saying by taking a pledge is saying, I am showing up I'm going to be present in my healing journey, and I want to be a part of a collective as I do so. And so hence Pusher community. So take that pledge while you're over there. In the meantime, between time, I like to maximize every second of every minute in this hour. So we're going to get straight into it. We know why we come here every week. So it is no need to delay. Before I get into my little spiel, I'm going to ask this beautiful young lady beside me to introduce to some and remind others of who she be.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tia Richards. Depending on where you are and where you know me from, what I am to you, but always the hood social worker, always working for our people everywhere and everything I do. So, in that's full circle.
Yes, yes, indeed. We don't know what hat. So right now, the hat that she is wearing is simply Tia. Because sometimes I ain't gonna get into that. Yeah, I don't want to get ahead of myself. So what I would like to do, I do have a series of questions as it relates to community building. As you know, this platform is about healing out loud, but we are shifting. Although we are healing out loud, we have to implement healing in action. And so a part of healing is community building, because in order to build a community, we got to start with the healing. We got to get our people right. And so that's where you come in this conversation, because I don't even know the extent of everything that you do, but I know that you do enough for me to say, girl, God blessed you with a gift and he ain't give it to me. And I'm glad he did. It's only one you, and nobody will be able to do it like you do it. And that is why I appreciate not just who you are as a community leader, but as a woman. You are someone, which is no secret, but I'm just so glad that we are finally here. So we have been planning this for some time, not planning. We made a decision, and it's my fault, people. It's my fault. I overbooked, but nonetheless, it's been a minute, but I believe everything happens in divine order.
Yeah.
I just believe that. And it's not by happenstance that it is now. It is today in this season, especially in my life. So it's personal, but yet I'm sharing it with the world. But you are someone, when I first met you, I just was, most of the time when I first meet people at one time, when I'm around the season that I met you in my life, normally I would be intimidated because I was operating out of my insecurities. So one of the things about me, I tell the truth. If I tell the truth about myself, there's nothing that nobody can say or do. And I am not ashamed to speak my truth, because I'm healed from that. No longer do I operate through my insecurities. But what I can appreciate by the time I met you, I believe God was already showing me or putting me in positions to show me my growth. And when I met you, instead of being insecure, I was like, I need to know who she is. Your energy, your spirit, You are definitely polar opposite than me, which is surprising that I would be drawn to you. And I realize that I'm drawn to most people that has your temperament. It blows my mind. It blows my mind knowing the my temperament and knowing how I am. And so when I met you, I just was like, I got to know who she is, because I'm like, you are out here, you doing you like heels on the ground, but you look cute doing it. And I need mentor. I think that was one of the first requests that I had from you. I need mentorship. I need a piece of that. And I'm so humble and I'm so appreciative that God worked on my heart and my mind, my soul, that by the time I got around certain people, I knew what to do with it. I didn't run away from it. I didn't ignore it. I embraced it. And girl, I just love you so much. You are one of my sheroes in the city of Baltimore. It's like everything, even though we might not talk every day, I don't see you every day, but I believe if I pick up the phone and call you, whatever the ask is, if you can do it, you're gonna get it done. And even if I don't ask you, if you're listening, you still won't get it done. Get it done. And that is rare. That is rare, because you do it so, oh my God, it's so unselfish. And I scratch my head sometimes like, God, give me some insight. Like, give me a little bit of insight and teach me how to pray for her. Yeah. Because you encounter a lot of people and what you do, and different people, and you ask. It's like, that saying, I'm not too proud to beg. And you will do that for the greater good of your people. And so I want to talk a little bit first about, we was tripping at first before we started about how we met or whatever, but I want to give the community just a little insight on your perspective on how we met.
So for those of you who don't know, I sit on the board. I sit on the board of Pivot. Many people don't know I sit on the board. They think I'm a paid employee. And Pivot is our women's reentry program. So I tell people I sit on the board, but I think the board part just goes over their head. They don't even hear. They just know Tia, Pivot, working, and I don't correct them. I just let it be. But we were having an event at Pivot, and you were new to the program. You were just coming in, and for some reason, I was drawn to you. We had no words at this time. We hadn't said anything, but I just kept watching you, looking at you, and I saw how you were moving, and then I didn't know your story. I didn't know your story, but I knew that you were home, and I was like, sis, moving like a CO. And so it was like she was mugging. She was looking me up and down. The whole CO look. I mean, the whole look up and down, watching you, making sure you ain't giving no contraband to nobody. That's how she was looking, walking around her room. And I was like, what's her story? I was like, I'm watching her. I don't know. But for some reason I was just drawn to her. And it was almost like it was like me doing this to her. I didn't do it, but that's how I looked at her. I was like, I'm watching you, sis. Like you free now. You can let up. I don't know what's your story, but I'm gonna get you. And all of that was with no words. It was just me looking.
No words.
No, I didn't say anything to her. I didn't.
And I ain't say nothing to her right away.
No, she didn't. But I gave her a look, and like she looked up and down. So I like looked up and down, but being smart, like what you looking at? And then she was just looking like keep playing. She laughing, but I remember it so vividly. And I remember at the end of the program, I told her, I was like, sis, you ain't like that no more. You ain't no CO. You can sit down sometimes. You ain't gonna keep walking around looking at people crazy. And I think the way that I was dressed, she didn't expect that from me, and came because I was coming from work, and I think I had on suit dress clothes or something like that. But I was letting her know, like, yeah, I'm here. We can go there. But in a jokingly way, and I'm telling you, I said I was going to watch her and keep her, and I did, and yes. But I don't know, the spirit just told me, like, with no words, that she gonna do great things. Like, you need to keep on, you need to stay in touch, be in tune to her for some reason, and that's just what it was. And that's how the divine spirit always. I have a great discernment,
right?
People and things with no words. I know, and when I'm on assignment and the journey and or the he taps me into somebody and it's bigger than me, I don't care what anybody says about you. I don't care what I heard. I don't care about nothing. I'm locked in. And that's how I
Mhm.
was with you.
Yes, yes, together forever. I just thank God. I got some special people in my life. I'm trying to tell you. So I do want to talk about before we get into what it is that you do.
Mhm.
I
Right.
know you do many things, but the
Yeah.
core
Yeah.
of what you do, because everything you do is about community.
Yeah.
So because I'm introducing you to the Pusher community, I just wanted to ask you questions centered around community building, but from your perspective, before we learn what it is that you do and what it is that you can offer, even
Mhm.
to the Pusher community, because not everybody is a pivot, not everybody, it struggles in that area. There's some
Mhm.
people, men, you know what I mean, that is tapped in, that may can tap into your resource or be a resource to you, be a
Yeah.
plug for you. So okay. So the first question that I have is, what does community mean to you? What does it mean to you?
Community. Community. So I came up, I was raised by my grandparents. I was raised during the crack epidemic, during the, everybody. It wasn't a strange thing when people lived with their grandparents. Everybody during that era, who parents fell victim to, the drug abuse or crack, that grandparents was who raised them. So that's who raised me. And I was raised by my grandparents on both sides, on my maternal side and my paternal side. So both families were close. On my father's side, they were very close. On my grandmother's side, they were close. But in the community, my grandmother, she was a no nonsense, strict person. I had to be in by 9. No, you come in 9:01, you punished for 2 weeks. It was like, oh, this lady crazy. But
Mhm.
but people love to come there and come to her. And when anybody came, she always had a meal. She always had something for me. Like everybody centered around that. And when people die, I remember we lived next door, and the neighborhood is all black now, but when it was still white people in the area when we were living there. And my next door neighbor was white, Mr. Shimo. I never forget. His wife passed away. And when his wife passed away, my grandmother would save a plate at the end of our dinners every day and have me take it over there.
Wow.
And then he would pay me. He was like, hey, if you can help me, because he was like 80 something. He was like, if you can help me out around the house. So I started working around his house, doing all things, washing his clothes and different things like that. And I remember when people used to pass away on our block, my grandma would say, go knock on everybody's door and see who wants to collect for the person that died. So that's what I did. And everybody on our block did that. So it wasn't strange to me to, what I'm saying, to give, to help, to see somebody. And I'm an only child, and it was like people would say only children are like selfish or whatever. But every season we gave away. Every season, if you're not wearing something, we purged. Every season. In the winter,
Mhm.
we purged summer clothes. In the summer, we purged winter clothes. And every Thanksgiving and Christmas, my family will go to the women's shelter and adopt a family and bring them to our house for Thanksgiving or Christmas. So at our table will always be somebody new, and their child was
Wow.
somebody new. And even like I was in Girl Scouts, I was a ballet dancer, I was clarinet, all these things. But on the flip side, I had a mother that was incarcerated. So nobody really knew that, because it was like I was the Girl Scout, I was next, I was a modern dance, I was doing all these things my grandparents had me in, but we still had that side to our family too. And my grandmother would have us. She would gather everybody, call everybody, see who want to go see my mother on family day, who want to, get your quarters, get ready to go to the machine, all of this type of stuff. So the jail was my playground on the weekends, because my mother left me when I was 5, and I didn't get back with her till I was 21. So during that time, the village raised me. Like, it was a lady up the street who was like my grandmother. And when my grandmother was at work, I could go nowhere but her house. And it was all grandsons. She had a whole house full of grandsons. They all was my brothers. And they helped take care of me. They helped raise me. They would take me to school. They would pick me up. They drop me off. No, nothing ever happened to me. I hear some horror stories about people, nothing ever happened to me. Nothing ever happened. And I continued that on. Like, and when I went to my father's house, same thing. My grandmother, her sisters, they all lived next to each other. They were urban farmers, and they would have me do things to help people in the neighborhood. So it wasn't foreign to me. It really does resonate when they say train up a child in the way it should go, and they won't. Just it
Mhm.
really means that. And so I've I owe it to the community that raised me, because when my mother left, everybody was my brother, everybody was my sister, everybody was my cousin, and it was like that, and it was like, who am I not to help out and reach out? You know what I'm saying? When I
Mhm.
knew it was the time when community was good, and that's who raised me.
Right. And so, what problem do you feel most called to solve in your community?
Um, I'm a mother of a son, and so young boys, young men. At my grandmother's house, it was my grandfather and two of my uncles and two of my cousins. That's on my maternal side. On my paternal side, it was my grandmother, my father, his two brothers, and my eight cousins living in there, all boys. And a girl came eventually, but I have I got to know them intimately before the streets knew them and before they went to prison. I knew they grew up. I knew how they grew up good. I knew the foundation that they grew up from. I knew life. Their parents, they didn't have the, even though their parents were addicted and mine was addicted, it was a different way that they were handled. They were passed around a lot. They had to go different places because it was so many of them. It was only one of me. And my grandmother was like, just keep her here. And that was the story. But I got to know them outside of what the streets made them and before they went in. So me working in reentry with my guys, and when I had a son, my house was the house that all the boys came to. I cooked. I made sure he had all the games. I made sure he had all the snacks. He had all the, but that was my way of getting them there so I can talk to them. I talked to them about girls, guns, sex, everything. And they were like, Miss Ted, this girl turned the lights off. I said, oh, turn the lights on. Just little stuff with them, teaching them and talking to them. When they didn't, one little boy didn't have money to get into the party. I was like, look, I need my car vacuumed out and washed. And I give you this $20 to get into the Paradox or wherever they was going. And it was just creating that. It was like, I knew them. I sat down and talked to them intimately. So when I see these other young boys and other men before, I had to tell people, I was like, are they really criminals? You have to separate, are they a criminal or are they in survival mode? Because it's a difference.
Right.
And so most doing things that's in alignment with getting to the deeper root of their issue and where they are now, and now young men and where they can be. Even my son, walking with him, facing charges, doing this type of thing. He didn't come from that type of home, but whatever, it happens.
Mhm.
So just knowing the stigmatism that the news give them, the work, and people seem to forget. Like, a lot of you was there. I saw a lot of them, and I know that a lot of them have a different story, and when they're in a different surrounding. So I
Mhm.
tend to be in a place or create spaces that taps into that space and not what the world and everybody else know them as.
Wow. 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 From a man's point of view. Thanks. Okay.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. So what's one challenge you personally face in doing the work that you do, that your other counterparts may have shared with you that you go through too?
Um, sometimes I have to know when to shut it off. Separating, pulling back, and know when to shut it off. And being myself, a female in this space, like, having relationships is hard for me because I'm in a space where, even though I know how to handle it and I know how to take it, like, everybody that I encounter or guys that I work with, nobody really tries me. Nobody really comes at me like they know I'm about this work. Like, anything else outside of that, you but just knowing when to shut it off. Because if I get it, like, for instance, I had a situation with a guy who got a job at Hopkins, temporarily through an agency, and Hopkins, out of 10 people, they only want to hire one full-time, and he was the one chosen. But when he got there, they was like, oh, we see you on probation, so we're gonna have to let you go completely. Oh, when I tell you that story, boiled my blood. I couldn't, and I knew I was doing something right, because when I wrote the people there, their lawyers came back, Hopkins lawyers came back, like, yeah, unfortunately. I was like, no. And so going hard and just jumping out there, like, I have to know when to, like, really back sometimes and not take it so personally, emotionally, and deal with it smart. So
Mm-hmm.
just going so deep and going so hard, because my passion is there, whether it be for the men, the women, all across the
Right.
board. And that's when I decided, that I would do something working with all genres, from the
Right.
youth to the women to the men. But we'll go into that later.
Right. So let's unpack that. What, excuse me, how does it make you feel when you are helping someone and you get them past the finish line like you did for that gentleman and he got the job and then they turned around and terminated him because of his background? What does that do to your heart?
It's a disappointment, and it makes me go back to the table like there's something that's not connected. That's not, so I like to be the one to connect it at the table. I don't want to be like, oh, I'm gonna call the supervisor, I'm gonna call the manager. I want to go to the root and change the root of this problem. Like I want to go back and change this bill, because let me read this bill that they're hiring for. And that's what I did. I'll call out for justice. I'll call them like, listen, I want to go after this. I called Delegate Ruff, like, listen, I want to go back to this bill and trying to find out what's going on. Because we have these companies that open. And so for those who don't know, also outside of this, I'm a real estate developer. So I deal with real estate investing, buying houses, flipping houses, but community development and affordable housing is also ties into what I do.
Yeah. So now let's talk about what all the things that you do that you offer. Like, yeah, let's shift into that.
Yeah. So if
we can't get around it, as much as I'm trying to, we can't really get around. I tried to save it for the end, but to make it make sense, because we're talking about community and you do a lot, I want to have things in perspective so people won't get confused. And if you hear something and you have a question, please put it in the chat. I would love to be able to assist you. All right. See, that's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. I will connect you to. I sure will.
Yeah. So it all goes hand in hand when I tell people, like, I didn't want it when I knew I wanted to be in real estate. I was living in Atlanta. And in Atlanta, I was getting the Baltimore Sun, and I was getting the news, and I was following where real estate was happening, what people were doing, what neighborhoods. I was following all of that. And so in doing that, when I knew the shift was coming, I got a call saying that Perkins Projects was just bought and the bike lanes were being put down. I said, oh, they're about to shift. I got to come back. I got to be a part. And helping my people secure a place in this what's about to go down. And when you're doing that, it's no way not to come across or include people in low income and barriers and criminal records and all this. It all ties in, because that's one of the stigmas for people with criminal records and background is housing. And that's one of the tools that they use, background, this, that, and whatever the case may be. So in doing that, I said, listen, we got to make it. We have to make something to say that cannot be a barrier or stigmatism for why people can't have housing or nobody will have housing. And I was going after big companies, because big companies use, a lot of people don't know, if you're not in development or real estate, the big companies use a criminalized area, or what they call opportunity zones or things like that, empowerment zones, because of that reason, because they get tax incentives and money to build in high poverty areas or high criminalized areas. But in the same breath, to say that you got a background check and you won't hire the predominant factor of people that are in the place where you set the bill, somebody got to be held accountable for that.
Right.
Because you're not going to tell me my people here can't get jobs, but you, off of the backs of the crimes that they committed, is how you got an incentive to build here. And we're talking about millions. So how dare you say you're not going to hire somebody because they got a criminal record, but you want to build where they had to be criminals and do criminal activity at, and that's why you're here? Like, no. So I like to get to the root of stuff like that, and I work in the background and stuff like that. Like I worked with a group and we got the inclusionary housing bill passed. And the inclusionary housing bill is when anybody who sets to build or do anything, you must include affordable rentals in your building. There is no way around it. You can't come here, set up, and everything $3,000 or $2,000 a month when you know everybody here makes $20,000 to $30,000, but you're getting $10 million a year for keeping your building here for 7 years.
Wow.
So it all ties in together, because let me tell you, I get calls daily from my guys that's coming home, about to come home. Hey, I'm about to come home. My guy's friend is about to come home. I got a brother about to come home. He need housing. Everybody coming home need housing. So
you're kind of digging into my next question. So, no, not my next question, but it is right now be my next question. Who is most undeserved or overlooked?
Most undeserved and our youth, ages 13 to 17, and now 10 to 17, because I got a 10-year-old home monitor for attempt murder. So 10 to 17, because you'll see a lot of youth programs. See, I read, I like the fine print. Everything that if a program posts something, what they're not telling me is what I dig to find out. So if you're telling me you have a youth program, well, what age are you serving? Many of the youth programs are serving ages 18 to 24. Last I checked, 18 to 24, you can get life sentences at
No
16.
doubt. No doubt.
But because it's a buzz, because people know that it's been acceptable 18 to 24, they go after that because they really don't want to do the work for our youth. Everybody say they want something for the youth. Make your program 13 to 17, and then you'll tell me you want to do the work.
Right.
Because you'll say it's nothing for them, but there clearly isn't nothing for them. If you're going to make the hiring limit is 15, or 16, and only during the summertime, but we're talking about kids that got to eat all year.
Right.
So I would say our women and children and our youth ages with 12 to 17.
Right. 12, 10.
Right, really 10. Right.
10.
Yeah.
So what is the biggest I don't know if biggest is the word, but my brain. What is the biggest resource that people ask for on a collective scale? Like, what is that one resource that is missing that everybody asks for besides housing? Because we know housing is number one.
A job.
Employment.
Employment is our biggest. It's our biggest. It's our biggest, because regardless, I don't care how many jobs are hiring. Everybody will say they haven't hiring. How many job fairs they haven't did.
I know.
And that's how it is. No, because it's out, because as many people say they hiring, they have this. I mean, we are the city or the job fairs, the job fairs, the job fairs, the job fairs. And then we're the most job fair and having people with no jobs that I ever.
So listen, we're gonna park right here for a minute. I'm laughing, but that is a sad truth. And listen, I be practicing my right to remain silent. So some thoughts I just keep to myself. But that is a thought that I've entertained several times. We have more resource fairs than people actually getting employed and maintaining their employment. Why do you think that is so? Baltimore is, we will put together a fair, an event to bring resources and people together. You ain't even got to call it a resource fair. We will remix that thing and come and have speakers and lay it out and have tables, vendors,
all kinds of things.
But then the people that is supposed to benefit from that, it's like the networking thing. We got that down pat, but we ain't supposed to be networking. We supposed to be servicing some people. And in the city of Baltimore, there are more people without jobs. And I'm trying to figure out stop having all these resource fairs if we ain't gonna really help these people, and stop. And if you are, now this is me on my rant. If you are someone who own a business or an establishment or whatever, stop putting yourself in a position to receive these people if you're really not gonna keep them.
And it's not, and on the defense, I play both sides. I'm a business owner and I have people help me and they come do things. And then also I interview the people and I hire them and I help find the jobs. And I also work with other employees in the companies who are hiring to do the jobs. We are at a place in life where we need to be teaching foundational basics.
Foundational basis makes sense.
foundational bases are needed because we're not only there's 2 decades where foundational principles, spiritual principles lacked, gone, never heard of. So we're hiring the people during the era when the schools, they have so many coming in. I have people who have diplomas who come to me who can't read.
Wow.
So when Baltimore adopted the No Child Left Behind, it's the worst thing the Black community could have ever endured. Because
Right.
with No Child Left Behind means good, bad, or indifferent, read or not read, we're going to give you a diploma as long as you show up.
Right.
And what that means is when you come to sit in my seat, when I'm working as the community advocate for hiring for jobs, when you come in my seat and you don't have the basic foundational principles, and we're talking about how to show up, not in your bonnet, not in your pajamas. I don't care if this is a trash job. Show
Right.
up appropriately because you don't know what position. Prime example, I have a guy came home for doing 38 years. He's 67 years old. When he came to me, he was like, he called me from a treatment program. He said, but see, just give me a chance. He was like, somebody just give me a chance. He was like, I'm ready to work. I work out every day. I run a couple miles, this, that. So I knew what he was able to do athletically and physically.
Mm-hmm.
When different jobs I had come up, and he was like, I said, do you like working? Our people don't accept it. People come to me, they say, I'll take anything. No, I don't allow people to say that to me. I don't allow people to say that you'll take anything because I know that you want a job desperately, but you not going to stay anywhere taking anything. I told the guy, I said, well, I got a job now, shoveling shit up at Pimlico Racetrack. Can you do that? He was like, oh, well, no. Then I take 30 minutes and break down. Do you like people? Yes. Do you like people? No. Do you like working with children? No. So if all I have is a one-on-one aide in the city school and you don't like children or you don't have, then that's not the job for you. And not everybody is assessing people like that. They just trying to fill a slot with a number. So your turnaround rate, that person is going to be back. You're going to get a complaint. And then they're not going to hire with you or hire you because you're not doing the proper assessment of the people you're sending somewhere. And the guy who told me that he wanted to do lawn service because so I'm in agriculture, urban farming. That's what I do. If you know me in that space.
Here's another hat, people. Check.
A lot of people know me, so my partner and I created a program, the Black Landscapers Alliance, and I do urban farming and gardening and stuff like that. So my people at my job know if people come in and say, I wouldn't mind doing landscaping, they'll bring them right to me. So I sat down and talked to that guy for 10 minutes and I looked him up and down. I said, you look like you want to be in the mayor's office somewhere with your pink socks and your suit on, talking to people. He was like, I do. I said, so why would you choose landscape? He was like, I just wanted something. You're not going to last 6 o'clock in the morning out there in the dirt with these boys. Yeah, no, you're not going to do it. So people aren't assessing people, right? I'd be like, well, it's a job. But do you have the mental capacity to deal with children? Do you have a mental capacity to deal with to be a peer recovery specialist? Everybody want to take that. Some of these people that take the peer recovery specialist need to be in recovery. So you have to assess and look at the person. If you're nodding out in my office now, I'm not sending you to peer nobody. We got to get you together.
Right.
And it's not something, and I understand it's something that you may want to do, but are you ready for that right now? No.
Right.
Like I was saying, I had a guy who just came home for doing 38 years, 67 years old. When they called me, they said, listen, we need somebody here in the records office. They have to be able to lift boxes, move around, don't like to be standing still, move. I said, oh, this him right here. I called him. He accepted that job 3 weeks ago. He's so happy. He didn't call me. He didn't send me a picture of his ID. Don't you know he's only been there 3 weeks? They have promoted him and said, you need to send somebody else because we need him at the top with the chief. And that's what the Baltimore City Fire Department chief. He's at the top with him now. They was like, we don't need him working at the bottom. We need some more. We need send us up some other guys. This guy too good to be down here doing that. All he needed was a chance. And I knew the right job. We worked together 6 months. I didn't find enough. But when he did go for something, it was something that I knew that fit his characteristic, that's something that he could tolerate. There's no way in the world I'm going to put somebody who having PTSD from being in prison and then I'm going to have them work at the jail. He want to work outside down with Downtown Partnership, picking up stuff. He's free. They doing that. You can't put somebody in a program and with children who have mental illness when they're dealing with struggling things with self fresh out. That's not a good fit. So the turnaround rate is going to be high. But I feel as though if the people who are in position to advocate and do work for them, don't just put them in somewhere because somebody's hiring and you're going to get a number and it look good. That's not me. And everybody know when they send me their program, they be like, oh, see, we got a training program, we got an apprenticeship program, we got what I said, what relationships do you have with people in this business after the person has finished the training? Because you're not going to give me a flyer telling me to give it to my people, but you have nothing after a warm handoff for them to go to. Because that sends them back to my chair. And they wasted 8 weeks of their time thinking that they were getting training for a job that doesn't exist.
Wow. So why do you think, you kind of answered this question, but I want to put the answer to a direct question. Why do you think people trust you so much?
Because I meet people where they are. I don't come with any judgment. I don't come with any, look, tell me what it is. Tell me, I only can help you if I know truth, if I know facts. You know, I can't help you. You had one guy who I kept sending on jobs. He didn't want to tell me he had a child molestation charge. Bruh, tell me that. I won't send you to the daycare center to be the cleanup person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You have to meet people where they are and not let anything that comes out or comes to you be an offense, to be a judgment, because as we know, many of us, if you've done anything in the system, and I work with several people, everything on paper is not always what it seems. Right. You'll have guys with a molestation charge or a rape charge, and you'll have a girl who lied. She was 16 and said she was 18. Right. We all lied when we was young. You mess with this guy, they like older guys. So I like to get to know the person. And then once I get to know the person, I can be like, oh yeah, he a clown, but he need a job too. Clowns need jobs too, I'm just keeping it real. So it's just like, and I have a segment that I teach, how to write a drug dealer's resume. And so I'm in there and I'm telling, they was like, let me see, I'm just gonna tell you, I'm just a drug dealer. I don't do nothing else. I said, no, let's dissect that. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Was you the corner boy fucking up the money? Because if so, you just general labor. Or was you the lieutenant and you supervised 3, 4, 5 guys picking up the money? You was the finance supervisor. We gotta put it down where you are. You gotta know your strengths and your weaknesses. But I think because I come to people, no judgment. I tell people I don't have no judgment. Just let me know what it is, what you need. And I'm going to get you that. And people will say, well, they used to, yeah, I used to, y'all used to. I don't care about you. Where you trying to be now? What you trying to do? If I see that you serious about helping yourself and trying to get somewhere, that's all I'm concerned about. I don't care what nobody say, what nobody told me, what your charges say, you was a rat. Okay, all of that. Rats need jobs too. All of that. So I'll just meet people where they are.
Yeah, I love it. You definitely do. I attest to that. You definitely do. So this, I'm shifting in my line of question. I want to know what, from your perspective, what makes a strong community leader?
I think a strong community leader who can go up and talk to the teacher and the doctors that live in the neighborhood, but also can go up on a corner and talk to them YNs that's up on that corner.
I know that's right.
Because we can't do, and I've been preaching this, and I've been on this soapbox for, people wonder why so many churches have closed down, boarded up. We've never seen many churches have we seen in this lifetime that are boarded up, doors closed, shut down. The churches have lost sight of the mission. The mission was always, as individuals, as human beings, for us to go out and save each other. For those who don't know, when you start overlooking, not talking to, not putting in, not streaming the word down on nobody, Christian, because I listen to Farrakhan first thing in the morning. My son will tell you, I'll listen to Farrakhan, then I might go over listen to Jamal, I go over listen to Rabbi, and any and everybody has something we all can gain from. But to live in a world with no foundational principles and no religion, we live in the time that we are now. So you can't call yourself a community leader to me if you can't talk to every individual from the courtroom to the boardroom.
Right. So somebody said you clocking. Ain't that's how they do it.
Yeah. Yeah, so and it's like, and when I hear people say, because them kids, y'all need to do something with them kids. Who kids? Your kids, your grandkids, your nieces, your nephews, because that's who they are. Because when you're in the hood, nobody comes from another hood and post up boldly, except for those who live around there, who are the children or the product of those who live there.
Right.
So when you want Brandon and the governor and everybody to come out to your neighborhood, let's start with your house, because guess what? In my house, my son 20 something. I'm going in that room. I know if somebody in your house, you're gonna know if somebody toting a gun in there before Brandon will know. Brandon won't know till a killing happened on the street.
Right.
So if you can't talk to your own children and your grandchildren, but you want somebody else to do it, you can't talk to your neighbors. Don't tell me that you're leading the community, because you only can be a leader if there's people following.
So basically, you saying make sure your stuff,
Yeah,
you causing an impact, in your perimeter before you go out.
you have to be able to hear the need of the ones that are in need, to be able to take it to the people who have the resources that make the changes for the need.
Right.
So if I can call the senator up right now, text him on my phone. I can tell him right now. I also can call YN that was just at the sub shop, like, but say I need a job. You gonna call? I call him, I text him, I say, tell me what you need, tell me what you want. They text me, call me, whatever. Those same, and I said, this not going on. And I listen to them. So when I go to them other meetings, when I'm meeting with the governor, the brand, the delegates, I'm telling them what's missing, what's the missing resource. Not from me, from their mouth. I go behind the wall. Many don't know. I go behind the wall of the juvenile jail. I go out Victor Cullum, out Sykesville. That's where they send the ones who get in juvenile life or they think too bad for Gay Street. I go out there and I sit in there and I talk to them.
Oh, you got to take me with you. Huh? You got to take me on a field trip with you.
Yes. I go in there and I talk to them. You know what they call me? The quote lady. They be like, "Oh, what quote you got today?" Because I give them quotes and stuff that my grandmother gave me from, for that sustain me, that keeps me. They was like, "What quote you got today?" I said, I challenge them. So I need y'all to make up a quote what y'all believe in, and they say some real stuff. And we have to start saying, we have to stop saying them kids, them young people, because Baltimore is small. If you go down their lineage, they connected to you some kind of way. Some kind of way. So to overlook the young people and not have a reality to them and say that you have a program, say my program grossing $20 million, but you still got this going on and they can't talk to you, you're not a leader to me.
Period. What did he say? Clocker. All right, you said something that put a thought in my head. How do you include different voices and perspectives? How do you incorporate that into the things that you do?
So I'm an avid listener and an avid reader, and certain things stick out to me and certain things I retain. Like I know I'm going to be in this space at this time at some point in time, and I'm going to remember, who said this and what he needed, and I'll come back to him. Like I was like, I have a man now who like 69 years old, and I told him, he came to me crying. He said, I got so much knowledge, I don't want to die with these knowledge, but I don't know how to reach these young people. I want to teach them. He was like, I see the way they're going. I told him, I said, stick with me, and it's been like 3-4 years now, and he came to me. He said, Miss Tia, he called me Miss Tia. He about to be 70. He said, Miss Tia, I want to build it now because these kids you gave me. He said, I'm teaching them. He said, they can't count. He said, they can't do it. He said, I want to teach them how I was taught. And I remember we need the people like him, who was a retired union worker, who was taught a different way than the school was teaching, and the boys can relate to him.
Mm-hmm.
We need them. And I don't know. I know everybody's not Christian, but in the Bible you'll say he'll use those ones that was cast away straight away that y'all didn't
of these. Come on now.
So and I tell people now, we are the front liners now. Now that the doors of the church, many doors are closed or not being entered into, it's our responsibility as frontliners out here every day to take what we've learned and what we know to be factual and true to them, because what they're doing now is begging for leadership. Nobody joins they goes into a gang. You in the gang. You're not in the gang because you think you're a leader. You're looking to follow somebody. Most of them, they looking to be led somewhere. It's just wrong people are picking them up. But that's who jumped out there to ask them what they wanted and what they needed. When we
Right.
walking by.
Right.
How about if each one of us jumped out there?
Right.
Get them by themselves away from their friends and see what the need really is.
Right.
So I tend to retain what somebody tell me, what somebody said they needed, and my coworkers and everybody know they. They'll be like, "Well, didn't you tell me such and such?" You know, I tend to retain things that seem to be important to me and compartmentalize until I get into a room, into a space that will service the need of that person. I don't know how it is.
It's a gift. It definitely is a gift. That's why you do it. That's why you're in the position that you in. What somebody say? That's why you the Pope. The Olivia.
Yeah.
What she saying? Olivia Pope.
That's right, my nephew. He been calling me Pope. I had never seen Scandal, and he called me Pope for so long. I just got finished watching the season of Scandal like last week.
For real, girl. Olivia Pope is the.
Yeah, I definitely.
What show that she popped up on? Never mind. I'm about to get distracted. But Shorty is about that life. How do you avoid burnout? How do you avoid that?
I avoid burnout because I shut down when I want. I shut down when I want, and I don't try to overdo what I can't do. If that makes sense, I pray about the things that I can't do, get in position with the things I know I can do, and I don't have a problem handing off people when I know that where I have gone in the journey with you has ended. I think more people face burnout when they try to do things that's not in their capacity, that's really not of them, or they're just trying to. I don't feel as though this worked in me.
Right.
I don't feel as though like, oh, I'm burning out. This person called me. This person. I don't feel like that. I put it in perspective. I get back to you when I can. I hand you off. I don't try to do. I be like, listen, I know who's already. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm not trying to do it myself. People are not. People are just looking for a segue in.
Mm-hmm.
In the front of the line. Like I get people to the front of the line. That's what I do.
So how do you know? How can you tell personally when something is working?
When the streets come back to me and I ain't gotta be there, and that people hear about me and know about me in rooms before I get there. Cause I don't do. People be like, "What's your Instagram?" Yeah, I really ain't doing that. I got too much that I do. They be like, "Where your business card?" I'm like, yeah, I don't have one of those.
You do. But everybody knows you. And you don't pass out you don't pass out nothing. I remember standing next to you and somebody was like, "Do you have a business card?" You was like, "Oh no, ma'am, I don't carry them." and I never seen you pass out a business card. I never seen you pass out. I'm saying for you. Now, I've seen you pass out other people information, but I've never seen you pass out a business card or flyer or whatever. But real talk, everybody knows who you are. That's in the space of that needs something from the community that they can't get on their own. Most people know who you are.
Well, that's when I know that it's working, because I don't advertise. I ain't on Instagram. Only if you're my closest friend or work with me, or you on my Facebook page. But even on there, I'm giving information, or I'm saying something about my everyday life. I'm not plugging anything or anybody, or unless it's for work or something, I'll post something to somebody. But I don't plug me. I don't know. It's like either you know me and you're sent my way, because I only deal with serious people. And I only deal with people who really helping people. I ain't dealing with people if it's about money, if it's about numbers, if it's just about to get your name out there for showboating pictures. Y'all know, if you know me, I don't like pictures. I don't like videos. You'll rarely see me doing. I've never did a live. I've never did a myself video.
No, I remember we did, and I still got it saved. Remember we did that podcast together?
Yes.
That was the first time I ever watched you.
That was my first and last podcast. That was my first podcast.
For real.
The Hood Social Worker.
So this your second one?
Yep. That's my second one.
Oh, I'm really feeling special, girl. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to run her back. We're gonna have to get her back. But
so we ask, how do I know when things working? Like I tell people, when when my guys call me, like, see, I got the job. And we're talking about, I'm not saying nothing is wrong with low tier jobs, but when I know that you're a person who can do above and beyond what they're offering you or what they say you can do, I'm trying to get you in that room. Like, if you know me, everybody know the story about me locked up 16, came home 39, and looking for those. I said, no, we're gonna get you. You're gonna be in this job where they're gonna look up to you and you're gonna be teaching. He's the first person ever that's been allowed to go back into JCI after coming home less than a year to go back and teach them brothers. And he went, and made him apply for the job at the University of Baltimore for a reentry trainer, or I don't know what it's called. But he's like, I can't get that. I just came home. I said, you're going to do it. You're going to apply for this. I wrote the recommendation letter. Guess what? I had to pep talk him through his first day back in JCI after doing 26 years there. And that's the type of thing that I'm talking about. You're not going to have, I'm not going to have my people settle for something. That's how everybody said, listen, get this now, but let this be this just a stepping stone to your journey. When I get people jobs at hospitals, I tell them, start looking after your 6 months, your probationary period, about something else that you want to do, another training that they will pay for. If you want to be a sterile tech, take this job now in food service or as a patient care coordinator or whatever the case may be. But as soon as your probationary period, you start looking to move up. Nothing where you start is not going where you stop, and don't look at it like that. So I said, do yourself a service now, where you can connect with somebody who see your work, who know your work, who know how hungry you is, so you can move up. And I said, because somehow people are business owner worthy coming out.
Right. I need a time check. Okay. Hey, man. Okay, here's another shift. What does healing look like in a community?
Healing looks like to me when, like I said, when you can embrace anybody, no matter what they look like, what they've been through, you can put aside, where you are up there to come down here and have a genuine conversation to help somebody. It does something to the soul for anybody to have somebody pay them some attention, take them serious, show them love, and that's what we're lacking a lot of,
right,
in our community. And so when somebody sit down, when people call me and they tell me, I was treated like this when I went to somewhere, or this place of work, or this place of work, I'm going to intercede on their behalf. I did it today. So I got a call saying, one of my people, if I send my people to you and you treat them like they're less than, or you're condescending, you're doing, listen, you're going to hear from me. You're going to hear about me. Nice. It's going to be nicely. But I'm just letting you know, like, I treat everybody across the board like they the same until you show me otherwise. Right. And we can't start healing people when you start looking at people different than you. When we all we all one step away from a life sentence if truth be told. It's been a lot of things that some of us done that didn't get caught, or something we were with somebody, and we all know by association you can be targeted too. You can have. I remember going for my nursing license and they said, "Oh no, we can't get your nursing license because you got a warrant." What? A warrant? Where? For who? And didn't even know. And that's why I'm working with Delegate Addison. She's working for people. You can't just put a warrant out on people just because somebody goes and say something. And it was something a girl said, "Oh, I fear for my life." She was messing with my son's father, and she said she feared for her life. I ain't never seen the girl. What are you talking about? But you were able to just get a warrant and stuff like that. And we have to understand some things like that. If I didn't advocate for myself, something like that can mess up somebody's whole life. Right. If they don't know the proper channels and resources, or have somebody to bat for them and dig deeper. And sometimes that's what a lot of people need. So until you can relate to anybody and take everybody, you can't start healing. You can't start healing, because as long as we keep thinking that we up here and we don't have time for the YNs, or we don't have time for our sister who getting high or something like that, we understand that people, they burn bridges over and over and over again. And it may not be for you directly to help, but to open that gate and lead that door and put them in the path for somebody who they are receptive to.
Right. So what keeps you hopeful?
Again, every time I see, the word say, if we save just one. And as long as 2, 3, 4, and 5 keep coming back to me, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I remember I made a pact and a promise to God, save my son, and I'll forever be available to save your sons.
Wow. And listen, if you have some guys that you believe that has something to say, they have a voice,
Yeah.
and they can offer something to help, to empower, to encourage, to provoke thought, send them to me. I'll have them on here, because that is what this is about. And I don't have a lot of men
Yeah.
on this platform. I personally would say I have enough,
Yeah.
but I don't have many men that comes on the platform. The men that I do, they uphold in an excellent way. They do represent, but I would like to get more men voices out, and especially in our community, because
Yeah.
I feel like as it relates to the men, so it's like a two-sided, men and women, because even in the reentry space, we feel like the men got everything, all of the resources, all the help. And the truth, the reality is that it's true.
It's true.
Because and women, what is the word, that women are complicated. Women get the least assistance because we are the most complicated. And I would think that you would aid and assist the person that you, the population that you feel like is much more needy.
I don't think that's the reason, though. I don't think that the reason.
What do you think the reason is?
I think the reason that the resources lack, because when people in their mind, again, bias is as if you like, they only thought of men going to jail. They really didn't.
Well, yeah, that's true. But we
really
in 2026.
I know we in
2026.
I know we in 2026, but even when people say reentry, I'm telling you now, when you say reentry, their mind are not on the women. They're definitely thinking first of the men. So it's not that there was nothing on the books. Even when the laws were written, when they said people were arrested and going to jail, it was only laws for men. You'll see he all through it, him, you'll see all through it, all the way to the back, the test of time. So even we know a lot of things that was a part of segregation. That in the reentry world is still a part of segregation.
Right.
The same things go across the board. Men still get paid more than women in the workforce field. It's still, and that's still the same way. When the laws, until somebody comes to the table and make it like, hey, these are women that are mothers, wives, and everything, that are. So it's still looked at as a male-dominated industry, I would say.
Yeah, and my desire, the way that I look at it as it relates to the healing aspect of it, is that if we bridge the gap between us,
yes,
because I'm not expecting nobody to come fix this. It's my responsibility. And so, which is why, another reason why I have this particular platform is to bring us, our voices, together. And so that not necessarily so that we can be heard, but so that our truth can be revealed, because we're doing real work. Mm-hmm. We're doing real work. We're doing the work. Why it was important to have you on here in this season is because now we need to see healing in action. We've seen, reconciliation take place. We've seen it on healing on many different levels, but I felt the need to run it, to circle the block, back, and add a layer of community building. Because we're not just dealing with hurt. I want to concentrate on the need. What is the need within the community, and how can we collectively cater to that need? And I believe if I continue to work on me, if I continue to do the work within me, and I continue healing, I open myself to bridge the gap.
Yeah, absolutely.
It took a long time to get me to want to even work with men.
Yes.
But I mean, you know that.
Yeah. So, Paulina, for those who don't know, but I know it's about me and everybody, but for those who don't know, who are joined from my side, I want you to tell them who you are, how long you've been home, and how long you were in.
All right. And not in the order that she said it. So I am, if you were late, I am Asabi. My birth name is Carlita. But I am a Sabi, which is Swahili for she is of choice birth. I have been at the Maryland Correctional Institution for Women and Patuxent Institution for Women for 22 years. I was released August of 2020. So I have been home. This year, August will be 6 years. And within the 6 years that I have been home, I been on a re-entry journey myself, and I'm still on in my re-entry journey and just trying to figure some stuff out in my personal life as it relates to my re-entry space. However, I am now, just fast forward, the re-entry manager for Pivot Workforce Development and one of the personal success coaches. Aside from that, I am a published author of 3 books. Yes, where homeboy at? Clock it. Yes, and shout outs to Trivia Inspirational Radio and What's Up Baltimore for starting, giving me my start, putting me out there, and just believing in me, because I did not want to do this part. I'm good with showing up and people asking me questions, but this was nerve-wracking. But after a while, it became, this is fun because I get to learn, and people think that I just know this stuff, but I am self-teaching myself. I research because I want somebody, even when it comes to this podcasting, I wanted somebody to literally teach me, but it wasn't happening. I just got thrown in it. And so I did not want to I didn't want to be halfway. And so what I started doing was going on YouTube, researching. And I would look at other people and see how they do it. Then I would research like in the different apps and all of that. So I am still learning. I am actually still learning. I upgrade the more that I learn. You see the flyers now, girl, I'm getting but it's fun. I'm having fun, like a process.
I'm so proud. I just want to say I'm so proud of you. So proud of you for coming out of this shell, for being, living on this side of life. 22 years, people think is a long time, and it is. But if this is what he birthed after 22 years, I'm here for it. This is just the beginning. I'm so proud for you. So many people ask me to do shows, and I say, okay, I might do it. I don't like the camera, but for you, I had to, and it's an honor of mine for you to be at this space, at this place, and even want to showcase me. I mean, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think you are important. I believe you are important. You're not just important to me. You're important to the community, to this city. I'm learning to not be so selfish and not be so guarded with the people that has a place in my heart. I'm so selfish. I can be. And I'm learning that if you impact my life the way that you do, just imagine how many other people's lives you would impact. And I'm just saying that is connected to me that you don't know. And so I am learning, and Aunt kind of helped me with this. I am learning how to share. And so it is important to me too, for Pusher, this particular community, to see who impacts my life, to see who gives me the wisdom, who pushes me to do what it is that I do. And what I want people to understand is I don't talk to you every day.
Mm-mm.
I don't see you every day.
Mm-mm.
When I see you, it's always a reunion. However, even though I don't see you, because I know your language, I know the way you speak, I know your passion, I've learned your heart, I know your movement. So sometimes in certain situations or certain conversations, I'll hear your voice. Sometimes when I'm struggling, or I'm extra nervous, I'm concentrating. Oh, let me find out what I'm wearing today, because that's sometimes the fit is it really brings me out of it. So I'm much more intentional. See, people don't know where I get this from unless I say it. And you are someone who has taught me how to be intentional when how I show up. Now, sometimes I want to be raggedy on purpose.
Yes, it's okay.
And I try to be, On
I'm
purpose.
raggedy some days. I don't know why people don't think that. I'm raggedy some days. I am raggedy some days.
Yes, but I am definitely intentional with how I show up. Because I don't want to look the part, I want to be the part. And I want to look, I want to show who I am and how I perceive myself. I don't want to always talk. You know me, I like to practice my right to remain silent. And so when I move like you, my character precedes itself. And it always has, but now it's just on a level in which I wasn't ready for. But so many people know who I am. And when I go places, people be like, I know you. And I'll be like, no, you don't.
Right.
But
Yes,
then I gotta remember I'm all over social media.
yeah. But you can cut you some slack because every time you see her, she's gonna have different hair. So you can see her today. This is not gonna be a hair tomorrow. So she got me beat on that. So she can hide in plain sight with that. But I want to say, and that is another thing, being raised by my grandmother being community. It was I wasn't allowed to go out like everybody else. Like everybody was allowed to wear scarves and slippers to the store. Not me. If I tried one day to run to the store real quick with some slippers on and come back, and my grandmother was pulling up, came in the house. She said, "Take them off. They can't come in my house. Come take them off." Threw them in the trash. Like they've been outside in the street. You're not gonna wear them in the house. And she had a thing. I'm in middle school. I was wearing suits. Let me tell you, I was wearing Gloria Vanderbilt in suits, and I said, "Why do I gotta dress like this in middle school?" And it was horrible to me. And then when I was growing up, she said, "Every time you leave this house, you got to look like you got some business about yourself. You never know who you're gonna meet."
Yeah.
She said, "You never know who you're gonna meet, who gonna look like you got some business about yourself. You might miss an opportunity because you look the way you look." And so when people say, "Oh, you got on this," and it's like it's not nothing to me. I like today I just threw on something, but it's out of habit and it came like that. So it really does something to my spirit when I'm in a place to hire somebody, or I have a job, or I know you will be good considered, but you keep coming to me with this bonnet on. You keep coming to me with this. You keep and we have that. I think I saw my coworker here. I don't know if he's still going. He know we have one to be true. I told security and I told the front desk, if she comes here with a bonnet, I'm not, so don't call me. I can't service her. I can't service her because I want you to always come to me like I'm about to send you somewhere today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's something that I was taught before I reached a place of business. But a lot of our people are not fortunate enough. So we have to be twofold and not shun them. But once I tell you, and now it's your responsibility to know. I can't show you because I'm not responsible for what you should know or what we think you should know. A lot of us now say things are common sense, but everybody wasn't growing up like we grew up.
Right.
We 2 generations behind of people who didn't have that same, the big mamas and the grandmothers and grandmas who instilled those same things in us are no longer here.
Right.
So we gotta, so at first I like, listen, and I told one young boy, he went to 5 people before he came to me. He said, I want a job. I said, look, don't be yelling all over this place like this. He was like, and I said, you smell like weed today. I said, I want you to come back tomorrow, take a shower, don't wear them clothes, smoke outside, don't smoke with them same clothes on. And then you come in. I said, don't show up like that. And I said, be at the job tomorrow. Don't let me down. Tomorrow morning, $18 an hour. He was there. They called me. They was like, he said, I'm homeless living in the Vic right now. He was like, soon as I get a place, I'm going to put my resume up on the wall that you made me. And this stuff like that you never know what somebody going through. And for them to feel comfortable enough to tell me that they living in the Vic, I had to really get through to him and help him understand, like, I'm not going to judge whatever you going through. But he aged out of foster care. And when he got in trouble with juvie, when he came home, his bed was gone. They was like, oh, you over 18. We don't get a check for you no more. You can't stay here. His mother was staying in the Vic, so he went and stayed in the Vic. I mean, a lot of them are in situations that aren't their choice. So once you give them a choice and let them know that a choice is available and they choose a different route, then that's it. But you can't charge people for what you think they should know or what they may not have known and say, oh, I'm not going to deal with them because they don't know this. That's not fair.
Right.
So that's where I'm at. Thank you. I know we had time. So
I know. Oh yeah. I definitely appreciate y'all for sticking around. Y'all know I like to start on if we start on time, I like to end on time. But I don't like the rush. So it just is what it is. I thank everyone for showing up on this evening, and I pray that you heard something that can bless your life. I pray that you will become a part of the solution instead of succumbing to being the problem. If you're not doing anything but talking, you are a part of the problem. If you're not doing anything but complaining, you are a part of the problem. If you are silent when you should be speaking, you are a part of the problem. If you have resources and you are gatekeeping them, you are a part of the problem. If you have a church and your doors are closed to the community, you are part of the problem. If you are a community leader and you walk past someone who has less than you and you do nothing, you are a part of the problem. We can't be everything to everybody, but God has given all of us something that does not belong just to us. We got to give it away to other people. And if you are an individual who is not aware of who you are, then I encourage you to tap in so we can figure that thing out together and so that you can take your rightful place on the spectrum. I am so grateful and I am so happy that I am also serving on the front line with such an amazing woman. And if you wanted to run for Senate, if you wanted to run for president, I will be right there holding the signs. I am trying to tell you, if ever you want to change your career and get involved, I'm telling you, I will be right there supporting you. I will plaster it. You ain't got to do it. I'm going to do it.
You don't have to ever worry about me running for anything because it's a dirty game and somebody got to be
it. Somebody got to do it.
And you know, they like to call your dirt out when you get front. Like,
yeah.
I ain't running for
That's
nothing.
why I put my stuff out there. That's why I told you earlier. I put my stuff out there because ain't nothing you can do with it if I put it out there. So put all my stuff. I'm calling me Cat Williams' little sister. I'm gonna put it out there for the world to see and hear. So that way, when the time comes when you say your little dirt, I'm gonna be like, all right. And what? I already said it. I'm free. I'm healed anyway. But yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. I thank everyone in the Pusher community. I thank everyone in the chat, those that are new on today. I pray that you come back next week. We will be talking about discipline over motivation. I am telling you, do not want to miss it. I will be the one. I will teach it. So what I do is I give the Pusher community everything for free. So I will be from last week doing a piece, discipline over motivation. You don't want to miss this. We are healing out loud, and yet we are healing in action. And so if you want to be a part of this community, I encourage you to come. We are live every Wednesday. And I got something special. I got something planned coming up. I will tell you all about that really, really soon. So stay tuned. I'm telling you, it's going to blow your mind. I told you at the top of the year that this year will be progressive for me. I didn't know what I was saying out my mouth. When I tell you it is progressive, it is progressive. So hold on, be patient. Someone just said they subscribe. Let me shout you out. Yes, Mr. Larry, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you. The more that the more that you comment, the more that you like. So while you're still here, please don't forget to like. It pushes us through the algorithm. See, this is the kind of information that some of the world don't want, because we ain't cussing and fussing and we ain't being toxic. We really are doing that work. So if you want to be a part of this, I want you to share. I want you to talk about it. And I want you to come back. Tia, the hood social worker. Yes, girl. I thank you. You are simply amazing. And I want you to know that I pray for you on purpose and with purpose. And I pray that God continues to fill your cup so that we can reap the benefit from the overflow. I pray that God continues to protect your heart and your mind as you continue to serve from the front line, not in the back, but from the front line, because leaders must serve from the front, not the back. we can't hear you or see you. You can't lead me if you are behind me. And so I definitely appreciate your leadership. I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate the work that you do. You are one of one. And just continue to walk in grace, continue to be fabulous. I call her glam. That's my glam chick. She just is, and so real and so raw, and authentic. And I pray that you come back. And don't forget, if you got some guys, bring them to me. I'll have them on our so that they can share their heart and share their passions, share their journey, so that we too can support them. Sometimes just listening and sometimes just saying I'm here is more than enough for some people. And so with that said, is there anything that you want to say before we end?
No, I just want to say thank you for everyone who's been a part of my life, a part of this journey, also because it's a resource team. It's not just me. It's someone here that I call.
It takes a village.
Yes, it definitely takes a village. And I have a village, and I call us. At work, I'd be like, we got the workers and the slackers. So we got a little circle. That's the workers, and we do this work morning, noon, and night. I mean, we on chats, we in text messages 3:00 in the morning, like, oh, this resource just became available. Make sure you get this to these people, and it's just that way. And I tend to gravitate to people like that, and I hope I draw people like that because I only want to be a part of a solution. We have enough problems. We have enough followers, tags. Where is the lead button? The lead button need to be on social media, and we'll see how many will pick up that charge.
All right. I know that's right. Y'all heard from the mouth of the hood social worker. Y'all heard that. All right, people, I'm going to let you all go. I do not want to monopolize you all time. Again, I thank you. I appreciate you. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it at all. It is your girl Pusher. If you're not pushing forward, you're moving backwards. Say it out loud. Forward ever, backwards never. No, really say that thing out loud. Forward ever, backwards never. Have you gotten your copy of It Takes One to Know One workbook and journal and people pusher? No, then travel over to pusherlife.org, go to the author's page, and you will find It Takes One to Know One and People Pusher. Come tap in.